Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the New York Metropolitan Council Transportation Council's Program, Finance, and Administration Committee, or PFAC meeting. My name is Deborah Nelson, and I am the chair of PFAC, and I'm representing the New York State Department of Transportation Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez. This meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be posted on the NYMTC website within the next 2 weeks. Today's meeting is available by webinar as well as in person at the NYMTC office located at 25 Beaver Street in Lower Manhattan. To the meeting audience who are on the webinar, your lines will remain muted throughout the meeting. The chat pod is being monitored by NYMTC staff. During the public participation section of the agenda, registered speakers will be called on in the order of their registration. Registered speakers who are participating by webinar will be called on and their lines unmuted for their remarks. At this time, I will begin the roll call. When I say your agency, I ask that each representative to state your name and the NYMTC principal that you are representing. First, the voting members. New York State Department of Transportation. That would be me, Deborah Nelson, representing Marie-Therese Dominguez. New York City Department of Transportation.
Paul Ochoa, representing Commissioner Idanis Rodriguez.
Thank you. New York City Department of City Planning.
Doug Rose, representing Dan Grodnick.
Thank you. Metropolitan Transportation Authority. MTA, Metropolitan Transportation Authority. All right, I'll come back.
Sorry. Yes, this is Julia Seltzer representing Jana Lieber, MTA chairman.
Thank you, Julia. Nassau County.
Joe Cuomo, representing Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman.
Thank you. Suffolk County.
Chris Chatterton, representing Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine.
Thank you, Chris. Rockland County.
Pat Gurton, representing Rockland County Executive Ed Day.
Pat. Putnam County.
Barbara Barossa, representing Putnam County Executive Kevin Byrne.
Thanks, Barbara. And Westchester County.
Greg Lader, representing County Executive Ken Jenkins.
Thanks, Greg. All right, so now for the advisory members. Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Good morning. Jay Sheffield, representing Executive Director Rick Hott.
Thanks, Jay. New Jersey Transit. New Jersey Transit. Okay, I'll come back. North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority.
Hi, good morning. Ted Ritter, NJTPA, representing Executive Director David Barrett.
Thank you. New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Okay. Federal Transit Administration. Federal Highway Administration.
Automati, representing New York Division Administrator Rick Markey.
Thanks, Adam. And United States Environmental Protection Agency. All right. Thank you. By my count and under our operating procedures, we have a quorum for today's meeting. I will now ask Adam Levine to provide the Executive Director report. Adam?
Good morning and thank you, Deb. The following are some of the noteworthy events that have taken place since our last meeting in April. It has been an exceptionally busy spring here at NYMTC, and here are several highlights of the extraordinary work we have underway. The public comment period for our Draft Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP, is underway. The draft TIP spans the years 2026 to 2030 and includes over 900 projects and studies with total funding of $38.8 billion, including federal, state, and local funding sources. Paired with the TIP is our draft conformity determination. Transportation conformity is required by the Clean Air Act to ensure that federal funding and approval are given to highway and transit projects that are consistent with or conform to air quality goals. The comment period for both the TIP and the conformity determination opened on June 2nd and will last until July 1st, with 2 virtual public meetings set for this coming Tuesday, June 17th. I hope everyone here now will join us on Tuesday and share your thoughts on this tremendous slate of projects and studies our members are planning to undertake across the NYMTC region. Meanwhile, our draft Regional Transportation Plan, Moving Forward 2055, is nearing completion. This long-range transportation plan will include both the near-term needs addressed in the TIP and longer-term vision projects that members hope to advance should funding become available. The comment period for Moving Forward 2055 will begin on June 30th and will last until July 30th. At the same time, we will be releasing the 2025 Congestion Management Process Status Report for public review and comment. This report forecasts regional traffic congestion and outlines strategies to reduce it, utilizing demand management, system operation, multimodal investments, and more. 2 virtual public meetings for both Moving Forward 2055 and the Congestion Management Report will be held on July 15th, so mark your calendars. Applications are currently being accepted for the NYMTC September 11th Memorial Fellowship Program for the 2025-2026 academic year. With assistance from the Rutgers University Center for Advanced Infrastructure and Transportation, NYMTC awards these regional transportation planning fellowships annually. Selected candidates work on research projects with our member agencies and present their findings to members and the public each September. These fellowships honor the memory of Ignatius Adanga, Charles L'Esperance, and Siwong Shum, the 3 NYMTC employees we lost during the 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center. The program was established to educate and motivate people interested in transportation technology and planning, and to encourage innovations in planning activities throughout the NYMTC region. Up to 6 graduate students at colleges and universities in New York and New Jersey will be selected for this year's program, with each receiving financial support up to $35,000. Applications are due June 24th. Visit our website at www.nymtec.org for more information and to apply. Our regional waste movement study is complete and available on the NYMTC website. This study came out of the work to prepare our current regional transportation plan, Moving Forward, and it evaluated the challenges and opportunities associated with the movement of municipal solid waste and construction and demolition debris across the region. The study, which identified the current and future dynamics of waste generation, movement, and disposal from eastern Pennsylvania through central Connecticut, also includes a forecast of future waste-related transportation needs of the region and seeks to help planners and policymakers prepare effective approaches that meet the region's future waste transportation needs. Check it out. I guarantee your time won't be wasted. Horrible pun intended. Turning our attention to the New York Best Practice Model, or NYBPM, this is our activity-based travel model covering the 28-county metropolitan area. The model includes 21.5 million households and over 60 million daily trips across 36,000 miles of roadways and nearly 7,400 transit routes. It is used to project traffic and air quality conditions both for the conformity determination mentioned earlier and for our member agencies to assist in studies related to major projects. The results of the model runs were also used for the plan and congestion management analysis. The updated NYBPM truck component is nearly complete, with the model results currently being validated. On the survey community of practice front, the project team met with the full community of practice last month, with about 25 representatives from member agencies in attendance. The community of practice the community of practice brings our members together to share best practices and harmonize our approaches to travel surveys. The meeting featured a presentation from Cambridge Systematics on how big data can be used in travel surveys. As a follow-up to a question from a member regarding standardized coding of similar modes in travel surveys, NYMTC and partner Avail, the SUNY Albany Visualization and Informatics Labs, held a follow-up meeting with the members last week to provide further guidance. As part of our mission to synthesize and share data to help our members and the public make informed transportation decisions, we recently released the Travel Patterns Report for the first quarter of 2024. This report summarizes, both annually and by each quarter of the year, the average weekday ridership on buses, rail, subways, and ferries, along with vehicular traffic crossing waterway bridges in the NYMTC planning area. The report from Q1 of 2024 is on our website, and the report for Q2 is coming later this month, so stay tuned. We've had quite a busy season of brown bag lunch webinars this spring. In April, we heard from Westchester County and the New York City Department of Social Services on navigating free and reduced transit fares in the New York metro area. Last month, our own Mary Burns, staff director at the Nassau-Suffolk Transportation Coordinating Committee, spoke about our safety study, Coordinated Safety Action for Suburban Communities. And earlier this week, we heard from New York City DOT on the journey to implementing freight micro-hubs in New York City. The brown bag team will take a much-deserved break over the summer while we focus on other important work, but we'll be back again in the fall, so see you then. Last month, several NYMTC staff attended the biannual conference of the New York State Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations, or NYSAMPO. This conference, hosted by the wonderful team at the Syracuse Metropolitan Transportation Council, brought together over 250 transportation planning professionals to share and learn about the latest in transportation planning across all 14 metropolitan planning organizations in New York State. NYMTC staff presented several sessions, and September 11th Memorial Fellowship awardees presented their findings so far at a poster session. This was a great event and educational opportunity, and we look forward to the next one in 2027. And as I close my report, I want to thank the staff here at NYMTC, as well as our members, for all of your hard work. Your dedication and service to the people of New York City, Long Island, and the Lower Hudson Valley is, as always, very much appreciated. And with that, I'll pass the virtual microphone back over to Deborah.
Great. Thank you so much, Adam. All right. Lots and lots going on there, so really appreciate it. So we will now have a presentation on New York City Department of City Planning's Great Kills Transportation Study. This will be given by Vincent McKay, Oliver Vega, Olga Aliyevnevkov, and Rashika Dohestali. So I'm going to hand it over to the presenters.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're here to provide a brief overview of the Great Kills Transportation Study, a collaborative initiative led by the Department of City Planning Staten Island office, with funding support from NYMTC under the Unified Planning Work Program. The study launched in April of 2024 and is focused on identifying challenges and opportunities in the transportation network and public realm of the Great Kills neighborhood, located in Staten Island's Community District 3. The goals of the study center around 4 key pillars: promoting pedestrian-friendly streets, enhancing transit ridership, activating retail corridors, and supporting the long-term growth of the Great Kills area. To accomplish this, our team conducted 3 main types of analyses: existing conditions, transportation networks, and public realm assessments. These combined qualitative and quantitative insights give us a holistic view of how people move through and experience the neighborhood today. So why focus on Great Kills? Over the past decade, DCP has conducted multiple town center studies in this area. Great Kills is uniquely positioned as a key South Shore hub due to express connection to the ferry terminal with an active commercial corridor, among others. As we all know, the Staten Island Railway provides fast express train service to the St. George Ferry Terminal. Second, Great Kills has modest density. Lots of potential within the existing C4-1 and C1-1 districts. But despite its potential, the neighborhood faces real constraints. There's poor north-south connectivity along 3 crossings. Only 3 crossings over the railway exist, spaced about a half mile apart. Also, you can see in number 4, Amboy Road and surrounding streets are narrow and irregular, limiting space for multimodal transportation infrastructure. But despite Despite these constraints, the surrounding Great Kills neighborhood is rich in recreational assets, such as the wonderful Blue Belt system maintained by DEP, as you can see here. From here, I'll pass it on to my colleague Oliver, who will describe the historic context of Great Kills.
Great, thank you, Vincent. In the 1960s, families flocked to Staten Island, partially because of the opening of the Verrazano Bridge. Many were drawn to Great Kills due to the presence of the train station, which at the time created a lively town center. You can see the historical photos of the train station and the commercial districts along Amboy Road and Giffords Lane. Since then, businesses have come and gone, and pedestrian activity has decreased, partially because of large surface parking lots discouraging walking. These next two slides are static images of an interactive slider, which is live on our online story map. The first image shows Giffords Lane, seen from Amboy Road, circa 1870s, and the second image is the same perspective view at present day. The characteristics that make up Great Kills. We analyzed data from the U.S. Census to gather an understanding of the study area's existing conditions. The full report includes several demographic and socioeconomic data sets, but for the purpose of this presentation, only a few data points have been highlighted, specifically related to age, home ownership, transportation, zoning, and land use. We focused on data from 4 census tracts, which within the immediate vicinity of Great Kills SIR train station. To give a brief overview of the map, the census tracts are represented by black dashed lines. The main study boundary is the dark red line. The larger context boundary is shown in black. The SIR station is directly in the center of the map, and the South Shore bid is the pink area surrounding the train station. When looking into commute times, the census data shows that approximately 56% of Great Kills residents have a commute lasting 45 minutes or more. An average commute time is about 1 hour. Commute patterns show heavy car dependency. 72% of Great Kills residents use cars as their primary mode of transportation. In comparison, 25% commute by public transportation. 2 walk, 1 take taxis. And even though the public transportation options are abundant, such as the SIR and buses, they may not fully meet the needs of all commuters, who contributes to the high percentage of residents who drive. Overall, the Great Kills is slightly older compared to the rest of Staten Island and has been aging over the past decade. The percentage of people who are 65 and older increased by 54% between 2000 to 2020. Within the study area, 77% of residents are homeowners, while 23% are renters, which is the complete opposite to the rest of New York City, where 70% rent and 30% own. The study area includes 113 storefronts, 9 of which were vacant. By the way, COVID did not affect the vacancy rate. The predominant local businesses within the study area are service businesses, mainly food, drink, entertainment, and retail. The majority of land use within the study area is low-density residential, with a mix of public facilities and commercial uses immediately surrounding the SIR station. The graphic on the left shows the types of land use by percentage. As mentioned, residential in yellow makes up the largest percentage at 61.5%. Next is public facilities in blue at 15.2%, followed by commercial mixed use in pink with 11.5%, and vacant lots in black with 8.7%. This is the zoning map within the study area. The C4-1 district is at the center of the greater Great Kills neighborhood. C4-1 districts are very dynamic, allowing both commercial uses and residential uses. As mentioned, the South Shore bid and the SIR station are located in the C4-1 district. The SIR station has express service going to and from the SI ferry terminal at St. George during the morning and evening weekday rush hours, which shortens commute times for residents in the neighborhood. The central location and the express train service makes Great Kills a main transportation hub, not only in the South Shore, but within the borough as a whole. With this in mind, I will pass it over to our senior transportation planner, Olga, to discuss our transportation analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. In September 2024, Department of City Planning released a request for proposal soliciting a consultant to conduct traffic data collection within the study area. The contract was awarded to Simca Engineering Consultant in October 2024, and all data collection was collected in November 2024. Existing traffic volumes were collected on a weekday, morning, midday, and evening, as well as midday on Saturday. For each intersection, for each signalized intersections, the signal timing, cycle length, and phasing were collected from the New York City Department of Transportation. We also coordinated with MTA, analyzed ridership data for Staten Island Railroad and local bus network. DCP also obtained area vehicular and pedestrian collision data from New York City DOT Vision Zero database for the last 3 years, from 2022 to 2024, and it includes total collision and pedestrian collision. There are 32 total accidents within the study area between 2022 and 2024. 2 locations with 4 accidents, each in 2023, which were highest within the study area, Amber Road and Lindenwood, as well as Giffords Lane and Catan Avenue. There are not many collisions where involved pedestrians, and no fatalities were reported. Additionally, to vehicular movement, vehicle collection, and pedestrian collection, automatic traffic recorders were installed in between selected intersections, used to collect traffic data 24 hours and 7 consecutive days. The operation of signalized intersections within the study area was analyzed using Syncra 11 software currently used by Department of Transportation for intersection capacity analysis. The capacity analysis suggested that most intersections approaches operate at level of service C within the study area or better. However, 2 intersection approach movements operate at poor level of service, and it shows consistency. The intersection of Amber Road and Old Amber Road has poor level of service during all 4 peak periods in the eastbound left turning movement, while Amber Road and Nelson Avenue shows poor level of service operation during 3 peak periods in the northbound approach movements. The study area sidewalks, crosswalks, and corners level of service were calculated based on the methodologies presented in the 2010 Highway Capacity Manual and in accordance with procedures in 2021 Secret Technical Manual for specific pedestrian elements. Level of service grades from A to F generally represents different condition, with level of service A represents a free flow condition without pedestrian conflicts, while level of service F showing significant capacity limitations and inconvenience. While the sidewalks and crosswalks analysis revealed that most of the intersections operate at comfortable level of service, mostly A, the street corner analysis shows that 5 intersections with at least 1 corner operate at level of service E or worse, as indicated on this slide. The results of vehicular and pedestrian conditions could provide a baseline for the future conditions where they can be analyzed and calculated. Additionally to transportation analysis we just presented, we partnered with MTA regarding the ridership data for the Staten Island Railroad and local bus network. Great Kill Stations is an important transportation hub in Staten Island, having the highest ridership, as you can see on the slide, from any stations on the Staten Island Railroad during both morning and evening rush hours. If we zoom into Great Kill Station, we see the highest amount of ridership during the morning and afternoon evening rush hours going toward ferry terminal. However, it is important to note that during the morning rush hour, highest number of riders getting off and off southbound train, indicating that Great Kill Station is not more than simply park and ride for commuters who travel to St. George. So the bus ridership data indicated that there are 3 bus routes within the study area. The S54 is the only one local bus. And SIM5 and SIM6, 2 express buses which provide both access to Manhattan during only morning peak hour. SIM5 provides access to Lower Manhattan, while SIM6 provides access to Midtown Manhattan. All 2 buses, actually all 3 including local, they have a schedule during the weekdays. There is no schedule during the weekends. We also surveyed and summarized on and off-street parking within the study area, which you can find in the full report. Both summaries of the data, analysis of the data that we collected and analyzed are on file in Department of City Planning. This concludes the transportation section, and I'm going to pass over to Rasika, who discusses public realm rubric.
Thank you, Olga. Moving on, the DCP's Staten Island office developed a toolkit to collect information of an area's existing public space, called as Public RAM Rubric. It is designed to be adaptable and uses elements that makes up a public space as its primary mode of information to understand what is present on site. Since individual experiences in the built environment can be very subjective, this toolkit establishes 2 main overarching themes and then assigns a set of criteria to specific elements found in the built environment. In order to describe the nature of these elements, the criteria were adapted to vary slightly. First of the 2 main themes is access and visibility, which refers to a person's walking experience and is further separated into vertical aspects that a person observes while in motion and horizontal elements that we physically engage with when walking along the sidewalk. And the second theme is comfort and safety, which focuses more on how safe and comfortable a person's experience of the space is by cataloging elements like sitting space, street lights, trees, and so forth. Before moving on to the results, I'll be happy to dig deeper into our methodology separately if anyone is interested, but for today, I would like to talk more about the information we gathered here. The map's color spectrum, lowest percentage or score is represented by light blue, while the highest percentage or score is represented by bright magenta, indicating that the segment's performance in terms of its presence and functionality. Starting with the map which shows the overall result, we can observe that the area directly adjacent to the Great Kill Station operates more effectively than the area to its south or even the portion along the Old Amboy Road to its west. This also ties back to the land use conditions of the area, wherein the streets with blue segments have a higher concentration of automobile uses, lacking elements of a desirable pedestrian experience. Overall, the rubric presents several opportunities for improvement. Next 2 maps each go into the themes I talked in the beginning, starting with access and visibility. The pedestrian experience is notably guided by vertical elements such as wayfinding, signage, visibility of the ground floor spaces, and as such. This is evident when walking along the entrances to the SIF station, where the elements are more accessible and prominent than their counterparts across the street. Next up is comfort and safety. The result tends to be less favorable here, suggesting lack of elements which guides the safety and comfort of pedestrian experience. there are fewer elements present on the street farther from the primary commercial areas, suggesting that a person walking down the streets would have a less pleasant experience than on the street closer to the station, which offers a more friendlier ambience. In interest of the time, we are going to skip the next few maps and move on to briefly talk about the area's development potential before going on to the conclusion. Although this study is primarily focused on public transportation, street networks, and the public ramp, recent changes to New York City zoning resolution have had significant impact on land use and zoning within the study area, which could affect transportation. Specifically, City of Yes for Housing Opportunity, which was adopted by the New York City Council on December 5th, 2024. A zoning text amendment that proposed a little more housing in every neighborhood by removing impediments to the residential development across the city. Without going into too much detail about the changes, the text unlocked the potential for certain large sites within the study area, which before were restricted in terms of residential development due to its zoning district. However, now those sites fall under transit-oriented development, which provides additional height and floor area bonuses for zoning lots on a block within half a mile of a train station if they meet the additional criteria stated in the zoning resolution. So, all in all, this resulted in the amount of potential development sites within the study area going from 115 zoning lots pre-City of Yes for Housing Opportunities to 206 zoning lots post-City of Yes Housing Opportunity. The map on the screen shows how this impacts the area, especially around the station. And that concludes my section. I will now pass it on to Vincent, who will close out our presentation.
Thank you, Rasika. To wrap up, our Staten Island office is sharing the Great Kills transportation study with local stakeholders to get feedback and explore solutions. We've discovered key assets that include the Staten Island Rail Express train, low congestion levels, historic neighborhood character, and nearby public and natural resources. Opportunities lie in improving streets for walking, biking, and buses, upgrading the Staten Island Rail Station, and supporting small businesses through better transit access and potential zoning updates. Overall, the goal is to enhance mobility, preserve local charm, and encourage sustainable growth. The full report is available through the linked webpage. Thank you for your time today. We're excited to share, we also presented the same presentation last night at Staten Island's Community Board 3, which went well. So thank you again for your time. Happy to take any questions. Also, feel free to use this QR code to access our interactive story map.
Well, thank you so much. That was a very informative presentation. I'm going to ask if any of the members from PFAC have any questions about this presentation. All right. Well, we do have some time for questions from the audience. Adam, are there anybody there that has questions on the meeting site?
I'm not seeing any hands raised. I thought it was a great presentation. No particular questions, but I look forward. I just opened the QR code. Look forward to reading the study. So thank you for that. Oh, yep, and a thumbs up also in the audience. I think we'll have quite a few people reading that study. Thank you. Also, I'm really intrigued by the public realm rubric. Looking forward to diving in and learning more about that.
That's interesting, Adam, because that's exactly, I'm going to dive into that public realm rubric because that's really something that I think many transportation agencies are struggling to get that piece of data. How do we assess that comfort and safety and accessibility? So really looking forward to diving into that a bit more.
Yep.
I also saw in the chat that Larissa said that she found it a very interesting presentation about her neighborhood. That's great. And Stephanie, do we have any other questions from the chat?
Hearing
but
I'll go
ahead, Stephanie.
dive in. It's more one question came in. Is there any plan to implement any of these suggestions?
Right now, we're in the stakeholder stage where we're reaching out to our stakeholders. We have suggestions that from agencies that we already worked with, which is DOT, MTA, Staten Island Rail. And like we mentioned, we're out doing a roadshow, such as being here and last night with CB3, but we are still collecting suggestions specifically from the Staten Island bid for Community Board 3. So those suggestions will eventually be rolled into actions, and that time schedule is to be determined.
That's it for questions in the chat, Deb.
All right, well, thank you. I think that I have a suspicion that many people are going to be diving into your story map and your report. So I really appreciate your time and really found that very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we'll move on to the next item on our agenda. Let's see here. All right. We are now going to begin our public participation segment of this meeting. We will hear from registered speakers with prepared remarks. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to give their remarks. We will hear from these participants in the order that they have registered. We ask that all speakers limit their comments to relevant transportation and planning related items. Andrea, do we have any registered speakers for today's meeting?
No, we don't, not at this time.
All right. Well, thank you. So then we'll move on to the action items on the agenda. All material related to these action items have been posted on the NYMTC website at www.nymtc.org. The first action is to accept the April 17th, 2025 meeting synopsis. I ask all voting members to announce your name and the agency you represent when you make or second a motion. May I have a motion to accept the April 17th, 2025 meeting synopsis?
Motion, Barbara Barrosa, Putnam County.
Thank you. And may I have a second?
Nassau County, Joe Cuomo will second that.
Thank you, Joe. Does anyone object to the motion? All right. Hearing no objections, the meeting synopsis is accepted. Thank you all. The next action item is to adopt resolution number 599, revision of congestion management process operating procedures. I will ask John Simpson of NYMTC staff to introduce this resolution.
Thank you, Deborah. In light of developments regarding data collection and analysis, since the last time we updated the CMP operating procedures in 2022, we have decided that we need to update the CMP operating procedures again as for data collection, analysis, and performance measures. There have been changes in terms of data sources becoming more mature and which data sources make sense for which performance measures and which timeframes, and we are trying to align our performance measures as such. If you look at attachment 1 is what we of the resolution is what we currently have in the CMP operating procedures, and attachment 2 is what is proposed by NYMTC staff. And NYMTC staff recommends adopting this measure, and I will pass the microphone back over to Deborah.
Great, thank you, John. May I have a motion to adopt resolution number 599, revision of congestion management process operating procedures?
Motion, Pat Gurdon, Rockland County.
Thank you, Pat. May I have a second?
Second, Chris Chatterton, Suffolk County.
Thanks, Chris. Is there any discussion? All right, then we will now vote by roll call, starting with the Lower Hudson Valley. Putnam County?
Aye.
Rockland County?
Aye.
Westchester County.
Aye.
Okay, now for Long Island, Nassau County,
Aye.
Suffolk County.
Aye.
Okay, New York City Department of Transportation,
Aye.
New York City Department of City Planning.
Aye. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I was having
And
trouble
finally,
with my microphone, sorry.
Okay, Metropolitan Transportation Authority
Aye.
and New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. The motion passes. All right, and that's it for our action items. So the next PFAC meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 21st, 2025. The details of that meeting will be made available 2 weeks prior to that meeting date. The next council meeting is scheduled for Friday, September 5th, 2025. Details of that meeting will be made available 2 weeks prior to the meeting date. All right. So to conclude today's meeting, I ask a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion, Craig Leader, Westchester County.
Thank you, Craig. May I have a second?
Second, Doug Rose, City Planning.
Thank you, Doug. Does anyone object to adjourning this meeting? All right, hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and we look forward to people joining us in our August and September meetings. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Aye, thank you.